Good morning, friends. Today we have a really special story, but first you need to get ready. So, my suggestion is to sit on the floor, crisscross applesauce, put your hands in your lap, and take a really good deep breath. Are you ready? 2,000 years ago, Jesus was living on earth in a kingdom called Israel. And he would walk from town to town and from place to place, and people would follow him. And as people followed him, Jesus would tell stories. Jesus would tell stories about what it was like to be part of the family of God. And we have one of his stories today. It's called a parable. There was a father, and he had 2 sons, an older son and a younger son. And he loved his sons so much, and he shared everything he had with them. But one day the younger son came to the father and said, "I want my share of the family money." And so the father gave the younger son his share of the family money. And so the younger son took his money and he traveled far, far away. And he went exploring to other cities. When he went to the faraway country, he took his money and he bought lots of clothes and he threw big parties, and people always wanted to be around him. I wonder how the younger son felt when he had all these friends and people around him all the time. He spent lots of money on these parties. Well, finally, his money was all spent, and the younger brother was now poor. With all of his money gone, his friends left him because there were no more parties. And soon, the younger brother didn't even have nice clothes. At that time, things were hard, and there weren't very many jobs to get. There wasn't enough food, and so the younger brother had to get a job working to take care of pigs. One day, as he was taking care of the pigs, his stomach was grumbling. He was hungrier and hungrier, and he looked at the food that he was giving to the pigs, and he thought, at this point, that looks pretty good. And then he remembered his father, and he remembered the people who worked at his father's house and how they were treated. And he thought, I'm just going to go home and see if I can work for my father. I won't even be his son. I'll just try to work for him. And so he started that journey back home. Now back home, the father had been looking down the road every day, waiting for his son to return. And as he peered off into the distance, he saw his son coming down the road. He dropped everything and he ran towards his son. The younger son tried to say, I've messed up. I lost everything. But the father didn't even wait for him to finish his sentence. He wrapped his arms around his son and he said, I love you. I'm so glad you're back home. He brought his son back into the house, got him all cleaned up, and he told everyone that they were going to have a big party to celebrate that his son had returned. Now, as they were celebrating in the house, The older son came in from the fields where he had been working all day. His muscles were sore and he was tired. But as he got near the house, he heard music. And so he asked the people that were there, "What's going on? Why do we have a party?" And they said, "Your brother has returned. Look, he lost all of his money, but your father is so excited that he's here." Well, the older brother was so angry that he would not go into the house. And so his father came out to talk to him. And the older brother complained and said, "I've been a good son. I followed all the rules. I worked hard for you every day, and you never gave me a party. But my brother wastes everything, and he gets a party?" His father had compassion on the older brother. He said, "Son, I love you. You're always with me. You know that what is mine is yours. But people matter more than things. Your brother was lost, but now he's found. Come to the table and celebrate with us." I wonder what part of the story is your favorite part. I wonder what part of this story is the most important. I wonder what part of this story is about God's love for us. I wonder if we're in this story somewhere. Today's story is about compassion. When we really see people, we notice their feelings. When other people are sad or happy, lonely or scared, excited or hurt, we begin to feel that feeling with them, and that's called empathy. Noticing feelings is the beginning of having compassion, and when we feel compassion, we offer to help others.